Good morning.
Good morning.
Everyone. I want to reward Doris, who has, since we started the Mug Club, brought 3 visitors. So Doris is the first member of the 1 Million Cups Peoria Mug Club team. All right, come on up, come get your mug, and let's get a photo. Come get your mug. Can you hold this? Can you hold this for a second?
Oh.
All right, here we are, right here.
Oh.
But hold up your mug. Yeah.
And grapes.
Oh, good. I got a mug.
All right.
Oh, can I make a mouse? Oh, there's Denise. I didn't bring Denise.
I brought Denise.
Can I say one thing?
Very quickly.
Okay, very quickly. Oh, this is totally off. This is totally different today. It's something that you can learn. You won't believe this, but if you go to Snooks, you ever heard of cotton candy grapes? They are grapes on steroids. And they're $4.99 a pound. But they're worth every whatever. If you want to sample one, I got one.
Something's in the grapes.
There?
Something's in the grapes. If you're here, speaking of sponsors, thank you, Doris. Speaking of sponsors, 1 Million Cups today is sponsored by Eco Solutions Window Service. If you have a building with dirty windows, call Paul. So thank you, Doris, for continuing to bring people to 1 Million Cups.
Oh, yeah.
We like to have an open community here. So I see some new faces. Anybody here for the first time today? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people. Wow, awesome. Are you all here to see Josh, or are you here to meet Doris?
Doris.
Maybe a little bit of both. If you've never met Doris, meet her after. She's a lovely woman. So thank you all for being here. Some announcements quickly. KeyStart application deadline is like 16 days away. There is a super sweet countdown feature on our website now. So if you go to startuppeoria.com and click the KeyStart thing at the top, there's a really cool looking thing. How do you describe that? It's like a web widget. It's like a countdown widget. And it tells you exactly when applications are due. KeyStart is a business idea submission and pitch competition, the award for which is $5,000 in investment capital. You going to do it? Looking at you.
Yeah.
Good. I would encourage you to do so. What else is news? Any other things? If you're not on the email list, get on the email list. It's a cool little thing. I'm doing a little thing. If you've been here before and you signed your name, you're probably already on it. That's what that's for. What else? I feel like I had some other stuff to talk about. No? Anybody watching the stock market?
I lost all my money.
Did you do like this? Watch it dive off the cliff? I don't know much about that stuff, but Vince does. So if you want to talk to him about it, talk to him. Jason does too, and probably a bunch of other people. But those are the 2 guys I know who talk about it. All right, let's get right to it then. Josh Swank came to 1 Million Cups last week for the first time, and today he's going to present. That has been precedented once before. I don't remember who it was, but it was someone we met at 1 Million Cups, and I said, hey, we have an opening next week. Do you want to talk about your thing? And they said yes. So Josh is the second person to do this, but it's a very brave thing to do, and we appreciate you opening your schedule to us. I know a lot of times it's people jump at an opportunity to talk about their new project, so I'm excited about that. If you have a project that I don't know about and you want to present at 1 Million Cups, please let me know, or find Colleen, who's there in the back with the vest on, and we'll get you all set up. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Josh Swank.
Brandon, thank you. Yeah. Well, thanks for the opportunity to be able to talk to the group today. I appreciate that. And yes, the cotton candy grapes really taste like cotton candy. They're phenomenal. I've had them. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about Virtual Halo. This is an app that I came up with the idea this past spring in February, and pretty excited about it. We have a Kickstarter campaign going on right now, and the tech is actually in development. That's me. And I am working with OneFire up on Main Street to actually do the tech. So I came up with the idea. I did the schematics, the ideas of how it's going to work. And basically, it's a family of modules that watch over an individual. It's a personal protection system is what it is. And the crew at OneFire, when I met with them, they got it. They got it right away. And so it was just a wonderful meeting from the get-go. Started working with them in mid-May, and it's being developed as we speak. So I like to say the cost of this is pretty much, it's all about peace of mind for less than a cup of coffee. And that's not a day, it's a less than 1 cup of coffee a month. We all are coffee drinkers, obviously, if we're at 1 million cups. So this story, everything has a story, especially everything that is a good concept has a story. And it all started with a trip that I made in February to Colombia. I was down there for my day job and landed in Barranquilla, drove about 5.5 hours, met with a client. A couple days later, on our way back, I'm with a couple Colombian counterparts and my American colleague, and we're in the middle of nowhere, about an hour from civilization in either direction, and it was pretty much a field 2 days before, and the field was still there, but now there's a checkpoint that was magically set up. We didn't go through it 2 days earlier. It wasn't there. This is made of sandbags on either side of the road with a couple cutouts with some machine guns sticking through, and three individuals in fatigues with machine guns and a rope across the road. No way to get around it. You had to go up to it. We had to stop. So they pulled the Colombian counterparts out, and they started yelling at them. This was happening for 5 or so minutes, and my colleague and I, we were very nervous, to say the least. Then our doors opened. They pulled us out, brought us to the back of the truck. I immediately put my hands up on the back. I didn't want them to get fidgety with their guns. I had no idea what was happening. They're speaking Spanish. Unfortunately, I do not know Spanish. And after about 5 more minutes, my Colombian counterparts, they said, okay, get back in the truck. We can go. Turns out all the guards wanted was $20. They hustle drivers on there. They create their own little toll booths. But as an American and seeing the things on the news and the movies and everything else, I was very scared. It could have went either direction. And when I was in the back of the truck, I was concerned. Okay, am I going to be killed? Am I going to be taken hostage, kidnapped? What's going to happen? And what I was thinking about, and it's kind of a bizarre thing to think about, is how is anybody at the office or at home going to know that I'm gone? It could be a couple days before they truly know that I am missing. By that point in time, they'd have no idea where to start looking. That's what it was about, thinking about my wife and family. And with all this technology that we carry around with us every day, there's not an easy, subtle way of getting that word out without people noticing, without it being obtrusive. There should be, basically, I felt that there should be a panic button. Most businesses have panic buttons. You push it and it goes off. A lot of homes have them tied to their security systems. Well, we have the technology that's capable of it. All of us have it in our pockets, but it's actually the technology we're using is pretty archaic. Up until a few years ago, we actually still used those devices to make calls on. But now, thanks to the App Store and Apple's invention of the App Store and opening up that ecosystem, we can do tons with these mini computers now that we're hauling around with us. So that's where I came up with the idea for Virtual Halo. It started with one button. Push one button, it's an SOS button. It sends out a notification to my contacts. That's where it started from. And talking with friends and family and really defining the concept that it can be a lot more than that. We can use the technology we're developing for Virtual Halo and add on additional modules that do different things. And I really liked the idea, as I got thinking about it, how can we tie that to something that's more personal? And then the Apple Watch went on sale. So now you have something that's strapped to your wrist for the people that have them. I know Android and Pebble have their smartwatches as well, but it really took Apple getting into the business in a substantial way to start increasing the wearable market. Up until when Apple Watches started being shipped out in June, only about 1 million smartwatches had ever been built globally between all the major players out there. Between when Apple started shipping in May or June until the middle part of July, an estimated 4 million Apple Watches had been shipped. So that's 4 times every other smartwatch that's ever done. So my belief, whether you like the Apple Watch or Apple at all, is that Apple is doing for wearables what they also did for the smartphone and for tablets. They're creating the market. They're showing that there's a need. So that's why I chose in the beginning to strictly focus on the development on the Apple platform. There's the largest numbers of them out there. If this goes well, it's easy to expand it to the other, to Android and other platforms. So, but knowing that very few people, relatively, do have an Apple Watch. So we're also doing it for the iPhone. Then we I had some people come to me and said, well, you know, it was a friend of mine, and she is so afraid of letting her children go do a sleepover, for example. You know, we heard years ago of helicopter parents. You know, they're certainly out there. I can't say that Amy is, but you know, she's nervous. She wants to make sure that she's protecting her children. She wanted an easy device that if there was an issue, that they could push it, and she would just be notified. So that's where we came up with an idea for the panic button. And that's using existing hardware out there and just tying it in for our purpose. And then, of course, it'd be tied into the web as well as SMS system. So I talked about the modules or the modes in addition to SOS. And SOS is the panic button is what we're calling it. The other ones we're working on is an I'm OK module. And where this came to me from is because of my mom. I have a 73-year-old mom. She lives alone, very independent lady. But, you know, over the last few years, she's fallen a couple times. She's never really hurt herself, but what if? It's the what if. So on my way to work almost every morning, she lives in Indiana, I give her a call. Hey Mom, how's it going? She might think I'm being a good son. In reality, I'm checking up on her. I'm making sure that she's answering that phone. So if I can't get in touch with her by about noon, it makes me nervous. Then I call the neighbor, have them go check on her, and that whole thing. So when I call her to have conversations, I'd really rather have a more in-depth conversation, a meaningful conversation, as opposed to just the mechanics of calling her every morning on my way to the office. So I came up with this I'm OK mode. So whether it's on a wearable or on their phone, that would be set up to automatically come up randomly throughout the day, 2 or 3 times. It just says, are you OK? There's 2 options, yes or no. Hit yes, the app goes back to sleep until the next time it asks her. If she would say no, or if she were to miss it after a period of time, it would then send the notification out to emergency contacts and say, Mrs. Swank indicated that she wasn't okay or didn't check in. You may want to check on her. Here's her last known location and her contact information. And she could actually set, either on the website or on her app on the phone, who those emergency contacts are. The sport mode, pretty excited about that. As I said, I travel a lot for work. Well, this past June, I was out in Yellowstone and the Tetons. Love to go hiking and stuff. But I don't know if you guys remember that story about that guy out in Utah a few years ago that he went hiking, he got trapped between some boulders, he had to cut his arm off. Well, I'm not that adventurous. But, you know, I think about that, and nobody knew where he was going. They didn't know when, you know, that he was going out. He left a little note on his counter, but it was very vague. So what the sport mode is, basically, you choose it and you say which sport you're going to. There are going to be pre-programmed sports in. I'm going to go on a hike, for example. I'm going to go for 2 hours. I'm going to check back in within 3. If 3 hours comes and I haven't checked back in, then it sends the notification out to my contacts. It says, hey, Josh went on a hike. This was his starting point. It's not tracking you. This is his starting point, and he was supposed to be back an hour ago. He went 3 hours ago. He hasn't come back yet. You should probably start looking for him. Now, there's some additional functionality that we're going to be building into it over time, but right now we're focusing on getting the technology stable and developed, and then we can add additional features to that. Well, why I said we're not tracking you is because I am really crazy in regards to privacy. It's very important. I don't want to be tracked. You guys don't want to be tracked. Too many apps track you already. So we're trying to develop this so the user is in complete control over what information is sent out to whom. and what is being collected. And then there's the check-in mode. This actually came from a friend of mine in Chicago, and we thought it's a fun thing, so we're going to put it in. But since we started doing this, I think that there's some additional functionality to it. And basically, one touch of the button, it just sends a note out to your emergency contacts that says, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm just checking in. And then optionally, it would include your location. So you can do the same thing with a text message, but this is one button. Say you're running through an airport and you're busy carrying luggage, you hit the button, it deploys. So those are the 4 modes that we're in the process of developing right now. So I got these renderings last week from OneFire. This is the look that we're going for. We wanted a really elegant but simplistic look. We still need to deal with font size and some other things, but we want it to just be easy and seamless, nothing too busy. And this is how the iPhone app itself would look. I know I'm only supposed to talk for 6 minutes. I think I already hit that. I've got a 2-minute video showing you how it would work. I'm going to play that really quick for you guys.
This is John. He travels often for business. John's wife Lynn worries about him always being in unfamiliar cities. It can be a dangerous world out there after all. So Lynn bought John an Apple Watch to go with his iPhone, and she made sure he downloaded the Virtual Halo app before anything else. Virtual Halo is the personal security system designed exclusively for the Apple Watch, iPhone, and Virtual Halo's own panic button, which all provide a layer of security without being actively tracked. John can choose what information he shares and who he shares it with. He is in control. With Virtual Halo, Lynn worries a lot less about John when he's traveling across the country or around the world. He can easily check in when he arrives to let her know he's okay. And if he gets into a situation where he's in any sort of trouble, 2 simple taps on his Apple Watch sends an SOS notification to Lynn, including his location information. Thankfully, John hasn't had to use the SOS feature yet, but he likes the extra peace of mind so much that he returned the favor for Lynn. He also bought an iPhone for his dad, just to have the security for him, and a Virtual Halo panic button for their teenage daughter. See, Lynn likes to go hiking in the wild, and Virtual Halo's Sport module lets John know if she hasn't returned from a trek in the time she should have, along with her starting point, so John knows where to start looking. His dad is older and has some health issues, so Virtual Halo's I'm OK module is perfect for him. It randomly asks him if he's okay, and if he's not, both John and Lynn are notified. Their daughter keeps her panic button with her when she goes to events with her friends. If she's ever in a questionable situation, all she has to do is press the button and her parents are immediately notified. Virtual Halo is for you and your family. It's for what matters the most when it's needed.
So the markets, I've gone over the markets that we expect to be using this in, but independent people that work in business, such as real estate agents and social workers, the LGBT community, children, people with medical concerns, independent elderly college students. I think of the females that were abducted in Virginia a few years ago. The families really didn't know if they were alive or not and where to start looking, and that could have at least potentially helped them with the start of the investigation. We are not a security system. We're a safety system trying to alert people if a situation were to occur. So we do have some competition. These are a few of them. They're good apps. They're just handling it in a different way, and they don't quite do everything that we do. They do a small little aspect of 1 or 2 of our modules. And what we're, again, trying to do is provide something that's very subtle, not to draw attention to us if we're utilizing the SOS feature, and then all the other modules are really outside of the SOS function. Trying to deploy this very cost effectively. What we're thinking is, as of right now, the basic subscription would be free. Anybody can download it and have it, and it's going to be completely free, $0 a month, and it's going to include 8 notifications. 8 could go pretty fast if you're using Sport, and with 1 emergency contact. Say you want to broaden that, you want multiple contacts, or you want more than 8 notifications, it's going to be $1.99 a month. pretty cost effective. That's where we get a cup of coffee from. And then by 2016, we're working with monitoring companies, trying to pull together a contract to have live monitoring, like with your security system. And so if a notification would go off, the monitor would actually, they'd call you to make sure you're okay, see what type of assistance you need if they can't reach you, or if it's an emergency and you tell them what's going on, then they work with the proper authorities to get them to you, is the idea of that. And we're really shooting for a $7.99 price point for that. So that is Virtual Halo. That's my idea as right now. We're looking to be in beta testing in September here. And as I said, Kickstarter's live right now. So what questions do you guys have for me? Yes, sir.
Whether you're in Cambodia or rural Illinois, you don't have data all the time.
Right.
So how reliant is that going to be?
Right now, it relies on an internet connection through your device, whether it's a Wi-Fi or a cellular connection. So that is a challenge. There are devices out there that are, they're GPS enabled. You hit them, and then they can send a notification out to people, but they're not shrunk in size enough to make them practical to carry around all the time with you. That type of situation, say you're on a sailboat, you're in a very remote area of the world, having something like that in your backpack is probably pretty important. And it's great technology. It's just something we can't do based on current wearable and carryable technology, and we're trying to work within tech that people are already have with them. Yeah, it's a limitation.
So on your iPhone, for example, my iPhone is locked right now, and I'm in panic mode and I need to use SOS. How many steps do I have to do? Because I have my fingerprint scanner to unlock it.
Right.
Or does it go into a different way so it's quicker, less noticeable?
It would basically be three things. You'd be pushing it to open it, hit the app, and then it's one button. It's one button. Now on the watch itself, there's a thing called complications that you can put right on the face. And we are developing a complication on the face so you don't have to go into the app. You can hit the complication. Once the SOS goes off, then there's the countdown timer. And I think we're setting it at 10 seconds right now. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a variable yet or if we're locking it at 10 seconds. So you can disengage it for that period of time with a PIN number. And then it won't send that SOS out, just so we don't have a lot of false positives. Yes, sir?
Does the SOS tell you your location?
It does. When it broadcasts it out, it includes your current location.
It does.
Yes.
It's that long, exactly where you're at. If you're hiking out in the middle of the
Correct. That is, obviously we're still in the coding of it right now, but it's trying to pull the nearest address to where you're at, but then it would also put a geolocating pin on the map of your location based on long and lat. I don't know if any of you have Dark Sky, the weather app. It's a pretty neat weather app, but when you open it up, it actually says your current address of where you're at, and it's pretty darn accurate. Not 100% of the time, but it's in my use of it, it's I would say well over 90% accuracy, and as tech improves, that will just continue to improve.
That's the only time it's being tracked, because you told me earlier.
Yeah. So that.
Your program doesn't track your location all the time.
It does not. It's only when you open it, of course your phone always knows where you're at, and it's not until you push the button or one of the deployments goes out that specific location is included. It's not being constantly sent up to the servers. Yes, sir?
Are you contemplating, once the SOS goes out, that there becomes continuous tracking?
So we have a patent pending on the technology, and that is included in the patent. We have not talked about doing a consistent breadcrumbing feature, so you're actively tracking the person. We haven't wanted to do that, but I'm looking for feedback, and I want to also see from the consumer side what people want. If that's a feature that people will end up wanting, then most likely we will modify it and deploy it in the future. As of right now, we're not. We're trying to send a specific location. There's other services out there, such as Find My iPhone and things in which to track people. Sure, we want to keep it as tight and contained within our ecosystem as possible, but really trying to keep that privacy tight. and so people have confidence in this product. So there's not the misconception that it's actively tracking you. Yes?
Help me get a little more clarity around the example you gave about the mother who was afraid to send their children out for overnight someplace
Sure.
else. What feature or mechanism would that child have? Would it be a phone or a watch?
It's this little silver disc that uses Bluetooth, low energy Bluetooth. There's a battery in it, and it lasts for about a year. So you don't recharge it. You change the battery out after about a year. And all it needs is a Bluetooth connection. As long as it has a Bluetooth connection, so she could throw any type of cell phone within their backpack or whatever, and they hit the button twice, and then it sends that signal out through Bluetooth onto the internet, and it goes to Virtual Halo, and then it sends the notification out. Notifications aren't actually sent out from the device. The device just communicates with our servers. Our servers are what sends the notification out.
So would it be like a necklace that child would have on, or a bracelet?
Absolutely, whatever you'd want. There's a little thing so you can put it through. So you can strap it onto a backpack, put it on your shoelace, necklace. Yeah, sure. Yes, ma'am.
So I guess related to your situation that you had in Colombia, since you ended up knowing that you were okay and that
Right.
nothing happened, is there a feature to, I guess, I know you were talking about earlier the false positives, but to like check off after a certain amount of time saying, never mind, false alarm, I ended up being okay?
That's actually part of the reason we have the check-in feature as well. So we can check in and say, hey, I'm safe. And as long as you have it selected to go to the same emergency contacts, then they'll all be notified. That's part of the reason why we're not doing a direct text to 911. Once the monitoring feature goes live, if you're international, for example, the monitoring company can alert the nearest consulate or embassy to let them know there's an American that's in danger. This is their profile sheet. They could email them with your picture and your stats and in your current location. Similarly, with the check-in feature, that basically nullifies the SOS that you had sent out earlier. Yes, ma'am.
It's preloaded content when you're pressing I'm okay. It just says I'm okay until the text that.
No, it's all preloaded. You set everything up in the iPhone app when you set it up. You can go back into the preferences there and modify it at any point in time. But you cannot change it on your watch. And none of the modules can you, as of right now, change as you're getting ready to deploy. There is an idea for sport, for example, that there might be a voice dictation feature. So you can click that and say, hey, this is the route I'm going to go on my jog. And that could be included with the message when it goes out. But we're not going to deploy that right off the bat.
So then you're saying if you preload the content on your iPhone and obviously have it on the iCloud to go to the same device. So for example, you're watching, you're going out for a jog and you decide to do something else. You couldn't really change the content on your watch unless you change it on your iPhone.
Well, you can turn it off. You basically you tell Sport, I'm checking back in, Sport's done, and you can create another event at that point in time if you change your mind. Because you say you're not going to get back within the hour and a half, you just check back in after 45 minutes, and then but if you still want it to be following you maybe for another 2 hours, then you create another event for 2 hours. We're doing that so we want people to be very clear with what is active when, and we felt that by making it so to modify a current event, there could be confusion. Yes.
How'd you find OneFire?
How did I find OneFire? There was I got an email from them earlier this spring on an Apple Watch app that they were developing. So I went to a presentation where they were talking about it. And at the time, I'd say they were probably one of maybe 300 companies in the world that had developed an Apple Watch app. And I wanted to keep as much of the company and the tech and the development of this in Peoria as possible. I really wanted to keep it local. And I was impressed with their presentation and I liked their apps. So that's when we started talking. And after the initial meeting, I knew it was a fit.
or/if does it impact your business model, the fact that you guys are developing software and including this hardware with the button tracker for children, or that example that she brought up? Does it complicate anything that now you have to work with manufacturers? Or
It does. It does. The app and the software side is definitely the primary focus. The hardware is going to be coming after the initial app. So we're not working on, we're talking with the manufacturer and we're working on how to incorporate it and some of the technologies that they use. Like they have a technology called Crowd GPS that's really exciting that I'd like to include within our app. But that would be at some point, hopefully early 2016. I'm not launching them together. The app will go first. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Sounds like right now you're strictly focused on outgoing from the app. I wonder if you have any thoughts down the road about incoming, where someone could say to their elderly parent, "Are you okay?" or to their child, "Where are you?" So it's a two-way thing instead of just
Sure.
outgoing down.
That's good feedback. It's something that we hadn't.
Hi, this is
necessarily
Mike,
thought of
and this is the
being,
first screen test of
more
our green screen,
proactive from
and I'm holding
app to app.
a block, a
But
Lux block of
I know
orange
once-
and
once an
white,
once a
and a Lux
notification
block
goes out,
of contraption
it's
of
going to
blue,
be
white,
distributed
and
through
orange.
SMS.
And we're seeing if
So-
I move
so,
around, and if
people
the
will have to have a
colors,
cell phone to get
if crazy
the
things don't happen
notification.
around me, if I get a
If they
halo,
reply,
and I'm going to move
that
kind of
does
fast
go
right
back
now,
to the
and
individual
we're going to
that
check
sent
this
out
out, and we'll be
the
right back. So thank you all for coming by.
So
Ciao.
it's two-way in that regards, but right now it's not.
Hi, this is Mike, and this is the first screen test of our green screen, and I'm holding a block, a Lux block of orange and white, and a Lux block of contraption of blue, white, and orange. And we're seeing if I move around, and if the colors, if crazy things don't happen around me, if I get a halo, and I'm going to move kind of fast right now, and we're going to check this out, and we'll be right back. So thank you all for coming by. Ciao.
It ends on 9/11, and it's going slow. It's going slow. I have enjoyed the process. I hadn't done a crowdfunding thing before, and it's interesting. But I think we have 12 backers right now. I was really excited. I've gotten a few backers that I don't know, so that really, that's nice. Because you expect your family and some friends to chip in. You have those expectations, and those have come to fruition. But it's nice to get the outside validation of other people. The reason I did the Kickstarter was for several reasons. One, for the publicity, to solicit feedback. What do people think of it? So far, I've only gotten one negative comment from an individual. She wasn't overly happy about the sport mode. Not sure why, but it was, oh well, that's okay. And but then also to help me develop this, because there's some stuff we want to do, and that it's costly. So we've done some pretty cool rewards out there for it, and my personal favorite one is the launch party here in Peoria. That's what I really would love to do. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Love to see you all there. We are going for $30,000 is the goal for this. One of the big chunks of that, probably about 20% of that, is to cover the rewards of it. Then the additional fees or money that we're raising is to assist with the patent and legal expenses associated with that, as well as the development of the app itself. So yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean you didn't have to go into that much detail money-wise. Okay. I just wondered, what do we have to do as backers to get invited to that party?
Yes, what you have to do as backers to get invited to that party.
Is that for backers?
It is for backers, okay. Yes. It is for backers. So we have the rewards and everything set up on the Kickstarter campaign as 1 million cup attendees. If you guys do give, make sure you send me a direct message. We're going to be having, if we achieve our Kickstarter campaign, then I'm going to definitely need help to pull together all the awards and everything, do the packaging, and that's going to be part of the party. So I'll be happy to invite additional people. But I definitely do need people to see our campaign. So one thing I would like to ask all of you, because I know something that's always asked is, what can 1 million cups do for me, this presentation, is help me get the word out there. Send a tweet about our Kickstarter campaign. Throw it on Facebook. Let people know. If you think it's a good idea, great. If you don't, or if you have feedback, you don't want to say it publicly, hey, that's great too. All feedback is good. Call me, send me an email, tweet me, whatever. It's a work in progress. And I'm excited about this, as you can probably tell, but it takes a village. And I love what 1 Million Cups is doing. I love the startup culture. I love that Peoria is evolving and staying relevant. And I'm excited to be a part of it, both with this technology as well as talking to you all. So thank you for this opportunity.
Sweet. I have another question, dude.
Yeah.
That's great. You kind of jumped the gun on me there,
Sorry.
because I had one more question. And
Okay.
And if I can ask it, if you guys don't mind, is how are you finding your beta testers?
Well, I am definitely open to anybody that wants to beta test. One thing that is actually a level of an award. So on Kickstarter. So people give a certain amount, then they automatically become. That's more of an outward, like people in the wild type thing as a way to get them to give more on Kickstarter. But if anybody has an Apple Watch or an iPhone and interest in this, and you don't have to have the Apple Watch, but I'm definitely looking for a number of people with Apple Watches. That's going to probably be the biggest component that we have to test. The iPhone's really going to be easy to test, but the Apple Watch, there's fewer of them out there, and we don't want it to be buggy. That's pretty important. So let me know. I would love to add you to the list. Yeah.
So clap for Josh again. Thanks, man. Well done. I thought there was one thing I thought of at the beginning, and I was forgetting, and I remembered it.
Okay.
So thank you.
Sure.
September 16th is a Wednesday. I'm thinking, can someone with a phone confirm that September 16th is a Wednesday? All right. We are going to have a 1 Million Cups field trip, by which I mean we're not going to have 1 million cups. The state of Illinois is having a business and entrepreneurs resources event at Peoria Next Innovation Center from 8 to 10 a.m. on the 16th of September. That's where I'll be, and that's where all of you should also be. That's what I was forgetting. That's why I looked at you. You didn't remind me.
I didn't read your mind.
I know. Everyone say hello to Denise before she scoots out of here. And that's it. Drink the coffee.